Right. In number 4, we want to prove that quadrilateral JKLM is a rhombus. Now, there are many different ways that we could do this. One possible way would be to show that the diagonals are perpendicular bisectors. If we can show that they're perpendicular bisectors, we've showed that this quadrilateral is a rhombus. So if I want to show something about perpendicular, I need to use my slope. And again, we are doing the slope of the diagonals. So I want to draw those diagonals in there. And the reason that I want to choose this is look at how nicely those diagonals are oriented. If I want to show that they bisect each other, I need to then use the midpoint formula. So we're going to start with the slope. So my slope formula, the change in y over the change in x. So I first want to state my slope of Km. Now this is a vertical line, so this is an undefined slope. I want to then look at my slope of Lj, and I know that that's 0. So I can now make the conclusion that Km is perpendicular to Lj, since the slopes are negative reciprocals. Secondly, I want to look at the midpoint. So I'm going to write down my midpoint formula. So my midpoint, the sum of the x's divided by 2, the sum of the y's divided by 2. So the first thing I want to find is let's do the slope, the midpoint of Km. So my midpoint of Km, I've got 1 plus 1 divided by 2, 9 plus negative 5 divided by 2. My midpoint of Km is then 1, 2. I'm then going to find my midpoint of Lj. So plugging my numbers into my formula, I've got 5 plus negative 3 divided by 2, 2 plus 2 divided by 2. So my midpoint of Lj also gives me 1, 2. So, since the diagonals have the same midpoint, they bisect each other. So now we need to put all of this together. So we now know that quadrilateral JKLM is a rhombus since the diagonals are perpendicular bisectors of each other. Again, there are more than one way to do this proof. We could show that this is a parallelogram by showing all 4 sides. Just like the last one, we could show that all 4 sides have equal lengths. And then we could show that since both pairs of opposite sides are congruent, it's a parallelogram. And if all 4 sides, or just 2 of them that are next to each other, are congruent, we now know that it's a rhombus.